This is Rowena Starling welcoming you to the Save Your Breath show, where we help parents eliminate the stress and aggravation of parenting, whether your child is 5 or 50. Today we have a guest that I have been longing to have join me on the show here for quite some time, and I finally pinned him down. His name is Mr. Les Minkus. And as a parent of, I think he says 3 adults, I thought it would be very important for him to share his wisdom, his experience. In fact, let me just give you a little information that I was able to receive from him on him. He is the founder and CEO of a unique online family educational and skill development company known as kidsdadsmoms.com. He was the founder of that organization, and also hosted the Kids, Dads, Moms radio show on World Talk Radio. He reminds us that toys and games are tools children use for educational learning experiences and skill development, and have the greatest impact when they are matched with the key areas of a child's learning styles, preferences, and interests to ensure well-rounded development. He and his wife, Phyllis Minkus, are the creators of the patented online skills development profile and Smart Matrix, an algorithm of tools that match the child's profile with educational and developmental products that can remediate or enhance cognitive, physical, emotional, social development, and provide a roadmap for growing a well-rounded human being. He was also the CFO of a major $500 million international corporation and traveled for business to 28 countries for 13 years. Today, Les is an international business consultant, and he and Phyllis have 3 amazing adult children and 4 amazing grandchildren. And I'm excited to have this out there. It appears he's done the full circle with us here and can give us some insight into what we have to look forward to, and perhaps also some solutions to some problems many of us are currently having. I want to thank you, Les, for being here with us.
Okay, well, then I want to thank you for inviting me to be a guest on your program today. And I'm delighted to be with you, Rowena. I also want to congratulate you on the important work that you are doing in being a valuable resource for parenting and grandparenting issues. Being a parent, guardian, and grandparent is a very important responsibility that actually impacts an entire family, every community, and the world. So I do encourage everyone to be positively bold about taking on that responsibility and being your child's advocate in positive child development, because otherwise we can all become the victims of irresponsible parenting.
Yes, absolutely. Now, I wanted to ask you just a few questions that came to mind. I've been wanting to ask you for a while, and I value your opinion. This is why I'm having you on the show. You have 3 successful adult children and 4 grandchildren. What words of wisdom can you share about raising children?
Well, I have to start with the area that I think has been most important to me, and it is have a good partner, because it's not easy. Raising 3 children is quite a responsibility, and there's a lot that goes into it, a lot of sharing of emotions, thoughts, questions. Am I doing the right thing? How should I do this? And it's good to always have a partner to be able to share that with, so you can think together with somebody else. I believe children are a product of their environment and reflect the people closest to them. They reflect family in their young years, and then reflect acquaintances and friends as they become teens and young adults. So early cognitive, social, emotional, and physical development is the foundation of their stages and places in life. you know, most of us are blessed and fortunate enough to be able to create a child, but some are not. But while we may be able to create a child, there are no knowledge, training, and educational requirements that certify each of us to prove that we know how to raise a child and what we're doing to become contributing members of the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what makes this process even more challenging is that children each have different needs, wants, interests, abilities, preferences, and styles of learning. To encourage each child's developmental milestones, a parent must be their child's developmental advocate to assure their child is encouraged to succeed with their abilities as well as with their challenges and learn to deal with and solve life's problems with impunity and with integrity.
Thank you. It's interesting to really think about the fact that not only are they absorbing what's going on with their parents, from their parents, but also all that influence from everybody else in the environment, from the school and the friends, and you know what they see. There's a lot to be trying to wrangle
and to make choices about. That's one of the key issues of teaching critical thinking skills, and it is how to make good choices, because you're invited into a lot of different issues and circumstances in life, and you have to learn how to be able to deal with all those and make the good choices in order to be able to be successful with them.
Yes, yes, that is a major responsibility, and the parents are trying to think of all of that at the same time, which really stresses us out.
Exactly.
Now, is raising children in today's world any different from when you were bringing your 3 adults up?
Well, let me start out by saying that, first of all, my 3 adult children, my oldest son is 47. He's a vascular surgeon. My daughter is my middle child. She's 44, and she's an executive VP of a very large company in the Midwest. And my youngest son, who I think you know, Rowena, he is a international consultant as well, and he's actually become a superstar around the world. People recognize him all over the world. He does large stage presentations and then works with individuals in order to be able to help them develop their business skills. So each of our 3 children, and he's 37, so each of our 3 children, certainly at the time that we had been raising them, it was kind of a different world. Now, I would say that in today's world, unfortunately, it seems that this has become a haven and has become pervasive for recent generations of people to adopt survival skills that are fraught with lying, stealing, and cheating. And to have a community that respects each other, works together to reach and improve shared goals, and add value that benefits everyone, we need to teach our generations of children to understand the injustices, the wrongs, the inequities of lying, stealing, and cheating. So this now brings us to, I guess, today's topic of discipline and respect. And I'd like to start with defining these words and what they mean and why they're important.
Okay, yeah. Why, what makes discipline so important? Everyone has heard my opinion. I'd like for them to hear it from someone else.
Well, let me start out by defining what discipline actually means. And it is training a person to obey rules and align their conduct with acceptable morals or a code of behavior. These are rules that every game, including the game of life, have. Rules provide for fair, just, and reasonable expectation of everyone's behavior when participating in that game. Even self-discipline can be a powerful skill to learn to control or ignore pain. And we can all benefit from self-discipline just from being able to control the things we do and ignore pain that we may have from time to time. And while one can become creative with rules, and that's called bending the rules. You can only bend the rules within reason, or the rule will break, and that can cause complete chaos.
Yes.
So let me go on to define what respect means, and then we can go on to talk about how important these two words are. Mm-hmm. Respect is a feeling of deep admiration for someone or something elicited about their abilities, qualities, achievements. One's respect for another person or thing can be specific to certain aspects, regard, facets, features, ways, senses, particular point or detail about that person or thing, and not necessarily for everything about that person or thing. So that's an important point. You may have respect for something or somebody, but it doesn't mean that you have to necessarily respect everything or everybody that you encounter. Gaining respect from a child or another adult should not just be merely expected, but must be earned by who we are and what we do.
See, and there's a lot of energy expended in doing that, because we want to be on automatic with so much of what we do because parents are tired. Right? And so what happens is thinking about the fact that they kind of need to earn the respect of their child, or, well, actually anyone. It's just one more thing that we feel we have to do, and a lot of that is just not happening. We just place those orders there, and we expect them to follow through, and that's it.
Absolutely.
So now, how did you? Is this the way you operated when you were raising your kids?
Yes, we did discipline ourselves in order to be able to make certain that we made time, even though I used to travel to 28 countries for 13 years, and I was gone for many weeks throughout the year. I was fortunate enough to be able to have good communication contact with my wife and my children. I stayed in touch with them. While I was traveling around the world is when I actually became aware of how people educate their different ways throughout the world. And I realized that if I was able to benchmark and develop a solution that people in this country can practice, both parents, families, educators can practice, I can provide a valuable resource. And that was how I really developed my program, kidsdadsmoms.com, and patented the process to work with several developmental psychologists, educational psychologists. And by the way, since we've sold the process and the name no longer is under our control, I want to make certain that if anybody goes to the website, that they're not be shocked that the website is not in our control and has unusual things about it. So I would suggest if you want to find out a little bit of information about kidsdadsmoms.com, go to YouTube and put in kidsdadsmoms.com. You'll see a video that we had produced that we had online that would give you a lot of information about the site.
So now, when it came to disciplining yourself around what you felt was necessary to be a good parent, especially in earning the respect of your kids, were there particular things that you did or made a point of doing that made it so? Because I have met your youngest son, and he's a fabulous person. So these people don't, just sort of pop out of nowhere as that influence. So what is it that you think that you did, especially when it came to disciplining yourself, that made the difference there?
Well, one of the things that I always try to make the children understand is that there is a solution to every problem. And all you have to do is work at being able to find it. Mm-hmm. And another thing is, don't just blindly take no for an answer. Mm-hmm. What you have to do is you have to be able to figure out whether that no is right for you, or if it's not, how to be able to turn it into a yes.
And so you taught them to do that and work that actually on you, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
That's a great parent. I love it. You see, so now I probably should have had your wife on the show too, because did she spend most of the time with the kids? She
did. As a matter of fact, we were very fortunate. She was not a working mother until the kids got into the later years in high school. And then she decided that she wanted to go back and develop her talents and skills doing something out in the real world. But yes, she was a stay-at-home mom until the kids were older teenagers, ready to go off to college. And I will tell you that one of the things that many times when I am present in the company of people who have the opportunity to be able to tell us what a great job we've done with our children and ask what I've done right, I usually turn to their mother and say, I married the right woman. So that has been a very important and valuable resource in my life for both me and for my children, to have somebody in your life that is grounded, dependable, and has the ability and skill. And Phyllis, by the way, spent many years in developing her skills and understanding what it means to be a mother and to raise children. And she loved that job. She loved being a mother, and that was very helpful. I have to tell you that in today's world, we benefit from that, and the fact that we have an organic household, and she spends a lot of time trying to figure out how to keep us healthy and what foods we should be eating.
Nice.
It's kind of the discipline that she follows.
Is there, I know that she, well, I don't have her on the show. Is there something that you can relate to us from her that would be words of wisdom that are not your words in particular, but something that she has impressed upon you about raising your children and or dealing with your adult children?
Well, I think a couple of things that we both agreed upon that she certainly helped the children understand is that showing respect for them earned the respect back from them to us. And also making certain that they understood that we were not around to be able to solve all their problems. They had to learn to be able to have those critical thinking skills, and they had to learn to come up with solutions to their own problems. Mm-hmm. So those were helpful because even as children, they learned and understood that the world presents many issues and problems, and they can't look to somebody else to be able to solve those problems for them.
That's a big one. That's a big one because I see a lot of spoiled children out there in the world, and I see a lot of I have parents who have spent a lot of time, I want to say spoiling their children, but trying to make it easier on their kids, and it's dragging them out. It's dragging them out, and they don't even understand why it's dragging them out. They're taking on too much. These little people come here, they come here with their own agenda, and we're just to facilitate them where we can. We're not to run and try to fulfill all of their needs all the time.
Yeah, and I saw the other side of that as well, and that is there were parents that were termed helicopter parents, mm-hmm. who were constantly hovering over their children and over everything that was being done and made decisions for them. And the children have a hard time then learning the responsibility of doing that themselves.
Yes, when they get out in the adult world, nobody else is going to be doing that for them.
Exactly.
And they're at a loss. It slows them down. Their progress is halted to a large degree when they are expecting other people to pick it up and run for them.
And you know what? Making decisions for yourself, there's a term that's out there in society, and that is say no, and that is to drugs, especially, and to alcohol. And your kids at a young age, especially in today's world, it's even at a younger age. Mm-hmm. They have to learn to make decisions for themselves and good decisions. So it's really something that's important to learn as a child, and that is how to be able to make these critical decisions for yourself.
Well, the talking, the communication, since the adults are here, I think not enough time, from my experience, is spent sitting down and explaining the ramifications of all these different things. What kind of result you can look forward to in the future if you continue to do them. For instance, alcohol and drugs. I mean, there was a long time there when I didn't realize or even knew that drinking alcohol or doing marijuana and various other drugs actually literally kill brain cells.
Yeah.
And people love to say, well, we have so many brain cells, we only use 20% of our brain or something like that. I'm saying, well, yeah, but we need to use them all. That the idea is to stretch ourselves into that full brain, not to start killing brain cells. And you don't know what area of the brain you're killing. Maybe something you really will need later on. So there's a whole conversation that's not happening with the various dangers, so to speak, in the world. So
a lot of the states right now naturally they have their issues that they're dealing with, which they're trying to figure out whether marijuana should become legal or not legal. And I think that people should certainly understand the importance of knowing that while marijuana can be helpful from a medicinal standpoint, that particular drug is a behavioral modification drug. It does change people's behavior. But what's even worse is many of the states do not have testing facilities. And the junk that's on the streets or that's stuffed into candies or cookies or edibles, you don't know what it's laced with or tainted with. Yeah. And that's what becomes very damaging to young people on the street that are buying the drugs and don't know what they're really getting.
Absolutely, and that's the problem. You don't know what you're getting. In fact, just over-the-counter drugs and various things of that nature are not regulated by anyone. None of us really
That's true. And even
we know what we're getting. So I think we need to protect our brain cells as much as possible. You know,
even the drugs that are regulated, you sit and you watch television, you see these prescription commercials that come on television, and they talk about all of the effects that have on you. And you wonder why anybody would even take them.
Cracks me up. I mean, I sit there slack-jaw sometimes looking at the list of things and they're obligated to go through each one. I'm thinking, I probably would not advertise if I were you.
Well, let me tell you the importance in the term discipline, and that is talent without discipline is like an octopus on roller skates.
Oh God!
There's plenty of movement, but you never know if it's going to be forward, backward, or sideways. So it's an important thing to understand, why discipline actually becomes important, especially when you have talent and you're using it. Now, discipline is a concept everyone is aware of, but few truly understand. The most successful people in life exert discipline on a daily basis. It is vital to every living being, and without it, the world around us would be in chaos. To be great and inspiring leader, you must constantly display restraint. So not just giving into something that you truly want is really a sign of strength.
Yeah.
Making the right decisions in life can make or break you. And this type of person tends to make the right decisions, regardless of where you exert this self-discipline. It will help to promote achievement in your life. So think of athletics. An athlete, the discipline is the fundamental aspect on which sports has been created. Every player must adhere to the rules of the game. This is why umpires and referees exist. Whoever does not follow these guidelines will be penalized for violating the rules of the sport. So too many people are susceptible to instant gratification. People lacking control are unable to look at the long-term effects of their actions.
Yeah.
This further demonstrates why this is such a crucial skill to have in life. It is probably the most crucial factor when trying to achieve a goal. It allows you to choose from different options, and by following these options, you can garner the success you seek. It additionally gives you the authority to overcome any obstacles that come in your way. For example, self-discipline is the form of freedom. Freedom from laziness and lethargy, freedom from expectation and demands of others, freedom from weakness and fear, and doubt. Self-discipline allows a pitcher to feel his individuality, his inner strength, his talent. He is master of, rather than a slave to, his thoughts and emotions.
Exactly. Now that's key. That's the mind being used to control your environment, your circumstances, yourself, so that you can then take that power that you have and direct it out to get the result that you are looking for, be it in sports or in life. Exactly.
And it helps control the emotions too, because it puts you in a position where having the discipline keeps your emotions from taking control of what it is that you're doing.
Yeah, well, that's the center of it. So how do parents teach their children these skills?
Well, let me just quickly cover the importance of respect. Respect goes a long way in developing a harmonious home, work, and social environment, and the communication is clear and appropriate among individuals who respect each other. If a person is respectful, it shows that he or she has positive attitude. A person who is courteous, listens to others, and treats people fairly, and is respectful. People who show respect for others often gain respect in return.
Mhm.
And this is important in the household. So, well, discipline and respect must be practiced and displayed by parents, guardians, and grandparents in every home. If you want or expect your children to develop and practice their skills as well, remember what we discussed earlier. Children are a reflection of the people closest to them.
Yes.
Developing the skill of respect for others leads to developing respect for yourself and the positive motivation that drives your own actions. You can't expect your children to develop or practice discipline and respect if you don't demonstrate these skills yourself. Do what I say and not what I do doesn't work.
Oh man, did I hear that enough?
So let me give you a quick example of my own experience of being a good father, being a good parent, and also raising adult children. Up until about 10 years ago, and I mentioned what the age of my children are, but up to about 10 years ago, by practicing being the patriarch of the family, I always felt that my primary responsibility was their safety. And that meant that anytime I was concerned about them making a mistake in life, I would jump into the middle of whatever it was they were doing or whoever it is that they were doing it with, even up to about 10 years ago.
Wow.
It
doesn't stop just because they're an adult.
Right. But I got that feeling from them after a period of time that, hey, we know what we're doing. We're grown up and you raised us the right way and we got the right skills and abilities. Back off, man. So I happened to be on an airplane and I was sitting next to a family therapist. And he and I got talking about this whole issue. And I felt the sense of, what do I do? How do I control my own self now from trying to continue being the patriarch and the parent of the family? And he said to me, you know what? I suggest you go to the library and take out a book on being the parent of adult children. Mm-hmm. So I did. I kind of found that an interesting recommendation. And I went to my local library. And I thought I'd go in there, and I thought the librarian would have a difficult time understanding what it was that I was looking for. And she understood it immediately and took me over to the shelf where there were thousands of books on the shelf about parenting adult children.
Is that right? Are there thousands?
There were thousands of books
Wow.
on parenting adult children. So after reading a couple of them, I realized that, you know what? I did a good job. My wife did a good job of raising our children. It's time that I not be so concerned about them making mistakes, and it's time for them to face up to the fact that they had learned right how to be able to deal with their lives and deal with their responsibilities.
Yeah.
So that's my recommendation for adult children is if you've done the right job, your job is kind of over with.
That's right. And if you didn't do the right job, your job is still over with.
They have to
Move on.
Exactly.
Relax.
Exactly.
You know, take a chill pill. Go have a soda.
Right.
Okay, so now how do parents teach for the ones who still have kids? How do they, I guess, did you address that already? The teaching, are you saying just do it by example mostly?
Yeah, absolutely.
And
you must do that. You must show your children that you have the skills that you would like them to have in order for them to be able to recognize how you use those skills and what benefit it has been for them and yourself.
And when it's crucial, I love to, I've done this with my own son. You know, when you're teaching them something, right? And if it's something crucial and it's a strong point right there in both of your faces, you can just stop right there and say, now, you see what I did right there? See what I did right there? Which lesson is that? You know what I mean? It makes it a little bit more fun, and you get to have more feedback and conversation. And
that feedback is very important. So you really have to stop and ask them how they feel about what you've just done or what you talked about.
Yes, exactly.
They have to be able to open up and share those feelings.
Well, Les, I love this. I absolutely love this. I appreciate you coming on and doing this for us. And I'm looking forward to seeing you again here real soon somewhere. I don't know exactly where, but it's been a long time coming to get you on the show. I appreciate you.
Good. Thank you very much for this opportunity. And I hope that it will create some value in order to be able to help anybody, somebody, and as many people as we can possibly reach, because the better the world is, the better it is for all of us.
I mean, that's the whole point.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, and I wish you a good evening. And for our guests here on the Save Your Breath Show, I thank you for joining us, and I look forward to seeing you here again next time on the Save Your Breath Show.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.